If you're joining me, of course, say hello. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments and ask me. Any questions that come up later, as always, feel free to put it in there and I will answer as I go and as much as I can. So without further ado, welcome back to 14 Days of Christmas. Sorry, my mic is kind of in the video here, but hopefully you guys can still see. I will be going back into the builder and sharing my screen today because we are going to go over integrations. So first and foremost, like I usually like to do is kind of do a recap of what we've covered so far. So if you are just jumping in or you missed a couple, you can kind of follow along and go back to other videos. So we prepped our quiz funnel where we talked a little bit about why, we're using a quiz, what our goals are, and also doing our research, who we're talking to, what our audience's voice is, and so on. Then we started jumping into the actual quiz where we talked a little bit about what our personalities are, which turned into our results and will become our segments, which we're going to go over today. Then we covered the cover page for title and tagline, then questions. I gave you 5 types of questions that you should include. And then we went into results, talked a little bit about what you should include in there. And then from there, I gave you guys a video on where to get support for your quiz and all the different places you can find it. And then yesterday, which leads us back to there, is we went over the opt-in form. And we talked a little bit about how to optimize your opt-in form because it is a big spot for major drop-offs for your quiz. What people will do is they'll take the quiz, they'll get to the opt-in form, and then drop off. So today we're going into integrations, which ties into the opt-in form because this is where the magic happens. People put in their email and it gets sent to your email marketing platform. And then from there, they are a subscriber and you start to talk to them directly. So I am going to pull up the builder really quickly here. Okay, nice. So let me go over my notes so I make sure that I cover everything that I want to today. Cool. All right, so something that I do want to mention, I probably should mention at this point, we've had a couple questions come in about this. At this point, this is going into our paid features. The reason why I really want to show you what it looks like on screen here is so that way you can, get a feel for what it looks like and see it in action if you're still kind of on the fence or still deciding if you want to go on a paid plan or not. I will go over our pricing plans at some point towards the end of this. I believe it's on the last day, but we do offer a 14-day free trial if you've already created your quiz and you're at that point where you do want to test out lead capture and actually getting people onto your email list. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And then, of course, if you guys ever go back on old videos and you have questions on those, feel free to put it in those comments, and I will go back and actually look for them. I've had some people tag me, which was really helpful, so that way I know that it's new and that I get that notification that it's in there. All right, awesome. So for day 9 integrations, I'm starting off back on the opt-in form because this is where we left off yesterday. I just want to remind everyone that to get to this spot, we toggled this button right here on. And I'm using a different quiz today because once upon a time, I actually went through and tried to mock up like a quiz into MailChimp and set it all up that way. And I already had this ready to go, so I thought it would be a good idea to actually show you guys what one of them looks like. We do also, I'll do it later, but I have a link to all of our email marketing platforms that you guys can take a look at. We do work with most of the major ones, and I will go over this in a second, but pretty much how I got to this page was we toggled lead generation on. We're on our opt-in form. We optimized. We filled this out. And we clicked save and continue. You want to make sure that you save wherever you need to. And then it's showing us a list of our integrations. So all the ones that you see here are the ones that we directly integrate with. And what I wanted to mention was if you don't see yours on here, there are a couple of other options. So one of those being Zapier. So if you do connect, if you do have an email marketing platform, sorry, I'm getting it confused. If you have an email marketing platform that does connect with Zapier, you can send zaps from your quiz to your email marketing platform that way. Another option is to do a CSV file download. And what that means is they'll get to the opt-in form. They can still enter their email and name and everything like that. And then it'll send them to their quiz result and so on. But on your end, it'll all collect inside of your analytics in your Interact account. And we'll go over this when we get to that spot. But from there, you would actually download all of those leads and then manually upload it into your email marketing platform. It's not the most seamless, but if for whatever reason you're not able to directly integrate your email marketing platform, that is still an option. We also work with webhooks. I personally have not worked or used a webhook in my time here, so I'm not the best person to ask questions about this, but if you do need to use a webhook, you can always ask customer support, or I can always direct you to the place to find it. So let me know if any of these specific 3 are ones that you guys are using. Some of the common ones that I've seen people need to use Zapier with is Kajabi. If you use Kajabi for your email platform, Flowdesk is also another one, and I think that's all of the big ones that I've seen. But if you have had it, let me know if you've had to use Zapier, if it worked, if it didn't work, or anything like that. So the ones we do directly integrate with, if you are connecting through a Zap, it will look a little bit different, and I don't have that set up right now, but if you guys are interested in seeing that in some kind of a training in the future, please let me know. We will try our best to get that up for you guys so we can show it to you. There are some of our partners that have created YouTube videos on the way they connect Zapier to an email platform that's not directly integrated, and so that's kind of where I've been directing people, because I think it's an awesome way to do it, and we don't have documentation on it right now just because there are different ways you can do it, but let me know and we can get that for you guys. If you do directly integrate and you're using one of these email marketing platforms, they all work pretty similarly. I'm going to use MailChimp for the sake of this demonstration, just because, like I said, I had already had this mock-up set up for some time now. But when you get to this spot, before you're actually in this area and you click connect my email marketing platform, there are some things that you want to keep in mind and have already set before you jump into this. So number one thing, of course, is those segments. And what those segments are is usually going to be your personalities / results. And the reason for that is because, you know, you're giving people who they are, and that's how you're going to talk to them based off of what that personality is or based off of what that result is, and so on. It could depend on the offer that you give them. It could depend on the products that you send them to on your site. But I have seen people where they will send everybody to a main list. I don't usually recommend it because the whole purpose of a quiz is to personalize the experience. But again, as I keep saying throughout this whole process, it is totally up to you and what your business needs are. So when you get to this spot, you want to be inside of your email platform, whether it be MailChimp, ConvertKit, HubSpot, etc. in here, and you want to have those lists ready. And what I do recommend doing is going into here and checking out what you need to have, because some of our integrations, we don't connect with them in certain ways. So for example, this may or may not still be true. I haven't checked, but I believe when we first connected with ConvertKit, we didn't have the option to use tags. And they added tags in, but we haven't been able to connect through tags yet. Same with MailChimp, is also with tags. We didn't connect at one point, now we do. But either way, what you guys could do if you aren't able to access this because you're not on a paid plan yet, you can always go to our help center and click on our integrations button. So it'll start you off like on our big page, you'll click integrations. And if you scroll down, we have help docs on how to connect all of our integrations. And then as you can see, some of our common ones that we don't directly integrate with, like Kajabi. And if you scroll down, it's all in alphabetical order, but you'll pretty much be able to click on it and we'll be able to tell you how we integrate with them and what you need to have ready. There are some different kind of workarounds that people do. So for example, if in ConvertKit's, an example I like to use for this, people like to use tags, and it's a great way to, kind of figure out who's who in your email marketing platform once they get there as a subscriber. So there's workarounds that people have done where, we don't tag with ConvertKit. That's not how we integrate, but you can do something where you update a subscriber field, and once that subscriber field is updated, then you trigger a tag inside of ConvertKit. So there are different ways that you can work around with stuff like that if you want to do it a certain way, but we don't necessarily directly integrate. Like I said, it's totally up to you. I've seen a bunch of different things happen, and I think the Facebook group is going to be awesome for this, because if you do have a question on this, there's a ton of people out there who have figured out great ways to formulate all of this, depending on the platform that they use. And I'm sure a lot of people would have a lot of good insight on how they do that. ConvertKit's the most common one. That's why I like to use it as an example. But pretty much what I'm saying here is go in here, check it out, see what information you need in order to connect it to your quiz. So for example, don't have your tags ready. If we don't tag inside of the quiz to integrate with that email platform, you want to make sure that you have, for example, that subscriber field set up for your quiz. If you go down, we have step-by-step instructions on how to connect all of this. So you really just kind of need to follow along. We also have screenshots for you guys to look at. So if you aren't using MailChimp, which I'm going over today, then we have all of this help documentation here that you can take a look at. But they all work pretty similarly, so I'm just going to go over a general thing. And then if you guys have questions later, feel free to ask me. So we want to have our segments ready, whether it be tags, sequences, subscriber fields, and so on. You also want to make sure that this is specific to your quiz. So a big thing strategy-wise, I would say, is when you are connecting it to your email list, make sure that when they get to your email list, you're still continuing that conversation of letting them know, like, hey, this is your quiz result. We'll go over this when we go over emails. But pretty much I've seen in the past, not recently, because I think quizzes are more used nowadays, so people kind of use it differently. But in the past, I have seen people send everyone to the same list, whether they entered on an opt-in form on their site or they entered through the quiz, and then they send a generic newsletter. These leads are coming in very warm, so you want to take advantage of the opportunity that you have at hand. Okay, awesome. So when you get to this spot, you filled out your opt-in form, you're going to connect your integration. The very first time you do connect it to your quiz, it will ask for your login information, or some of them ask for the API key, which you can usually find inside your email marketing system, and then paste it in there. Sometimes it'll redirect you to that site to just kind of approve. It really just depends on which one you're using. But when it does take you back to Interact, you will get to this page here. It does start off on your results, because that's kind of the big idea, right? Once people get that result, you segment them into your email marketing platform based off of that result/personality, and that's how you talk to them. So this part is required. In this quiz, as you can see, I have 4 results here. This was like a Valentine's Day quiz that I made 2 years ago. Anyway, so what you're going to do when you get to here, I'm on result 1, so it's highlighted, so I know I'm working in this result. I'm going to click Add Action, and it's going to give me my options for how we integrate with that platform. So for MailChimp specifically, our options are to add to list, update a merge field, and add tag to contact. All of them will be different but similar at the same time, where some of them, I believe if we looked at ConvertKit, it said that it was a sequence. So the way we work with them is like add to sequence, add to form, or update subscriber field. And then if you were to be in like a Drip, for example, it would look a little bit different as well, but it just kind of depends on what language that platform uses. Like I said, it's all pretty similar. It's going to follow the same look. What's different is how you organize it or segment the people in your list. So in this one, for example, as you can see, there's a drop down, and this is why I use this quiz specifically, because I already had it set up. So this is what I meant by you want to have everything ready to go in your email platform. What we do is we pull what's already existing in there. So in this example, this quiz was titled, How Romantic Are You? You can see that I have a list specific to how romantic are you. People have different ways of organizing, who comes from a quiz or who comes from elsewhere. I didn't think that hard into this, but an example that I've seen is really useful is people will say quiz, colon, and then title of that quiz. So that way those people came specifically from your quiz. It's also really useful to title something that they are coming from your quiz, because maybe you have, blog posts that have a similar name, you have a course with a similar name, stuff like that. You just have to do one of these. It, like I said, is totally up to you. It really just depends. In this case, when I had originally set this up, I decided to use a merge field. So if we click this drop down, we'll see that when somebody takes the quiz, they get their result. I want the merge field titled Interact Quiz Result to be updated with that name. You can edit this if you want, but for the sake of, we're connecting results to result, it's going to automatically pull the title of that result. You can delete as you go. You can refresh. It's not going to really do anything because I kept the same thing. But the third option in here, as you can see, is add tag to contact. And I just want to reiterate this again because it is a huge question that we get all the time when people get to this spot. If you look at this drop down, when I click on it, it says no items returned. And the reason for that is because at the time I did not include any tags for this. And as you can see, the importance of making sure that you have everything set up before you connect it to your quiz. Pretty much what happens if you try to edit your segments and how you organize your lists and it's already connected this way is it's not going to pull those when you get here. And you won't be able to connect it. You would have to fully disconnect your email marketing platform and then reconnect it again. So that way it pulls that new information. So just to save time, I always say it over and over again. As usual, wherever you see a save button, click save. And then you'll see that it pulls this right here. You can edit it if you realize it's the wrong list or you don't want to put it that way and so on. If you didn't use all of the actions, the add action button will still appear here. And then you'll notice this button, apply to all results. And pretty much what that does is it does the same add to list, update merge field with that name that's pre-populated. Otherwise, depending on what your quiz is doing and the purpose of your quiz, you can pick and choose what actions you want. Each result does have to go somewhere though. For the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and apply to all. It's going to ask me if I'm sure. I'm not sure if you guys can see that pop up, but it's going to ask me if I'm sure if I want to apply this to all. I'm going to click confirm, and you'll see that now each result has this little lightning bolt, which just means that it's connected. From here, once again, save and continue. And this page gets really interesting. You might have seen us talk about it in workshops with partners in the past. Or if you've ever seen a video of mine that I might have put out like a while ago, I don't know. But anyway, this part's really cool because another thing that we can do is send answer data to your email marketing platform. So what people will do a lot of the time is tag based off of answer choices. This kind of goes back to some of those question types that I gave you. So for example, this is great for your filter question if you're trying to figure out like, I want people to be tagged if I should 100% talk to them because they chose answer B, or the segmentation question would be a good one. Or if you have one of those questions, it's just kind of collecting data, like, what are your goals in your business this year? And you have a select all that apply. You can tag all of those, and pretty much it follows the same process. I'm going to go ahead and, which one do I want to choose? You don't have to do every question for this one. So say I want to go down here and pick a gift to your significant other. I just want to tag random snacks. I can do something similar. Same idea. You have to have these tags ready to go or whatever, however you're going to send it over there. I don't have it set up, so I don't have anything to click, but I just wanted to show you guys that this was an option. You can do it apply to all answers if you want every answer sent over, or however you want to do this. You can do 2, you can do 4, it's totally up to you. Worst case scenario, if you're not really sure about this part of the process, you always have access to this in your analytics. If you're on, I believe it's Growth and Up, you can always download that data and then upload it again if you choose to. So for now, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to save and continue. Some of them have special settings, and this is also why I like to use MailChimp because some people miss this part. This part's just asking if I want to use double opt-in, which pretty much what it does is when somebody subscribes to your email platform, it sends an email saying, hey, looks like you subscribed to this email list. Just want to make sure you actually did this. Can you click confirm? Some of your email marketing platforms won't have this in Interact, but the setting will be automatically turned on or off in the email platform. So you have to find it and turn it on or off, whichever you want to do. I can't legally advise on which one to use, but if you do want to turn it on and off, usually it's just a check button or some kind of button to turn it on and off. In this case, I'm just checking it so we can see what it does. Save and continue. Most of them will have this as well. Some will pre-populate into the right spots, but for example, MailChimp has like a lot of customization in, where you can send stuff. So I want first name to go to first name. I want quiz score value to be Interact quiz result. And pretty much what that means is it's going to send over the name and so on. This is a little bit different because this was a scored quiz. That's why it says score value, but don't pay too much attention to that. So just making sure all of these pull into the right places, and then once again, save and continue. And this page is pretty cool because you can actually test the integration before, it goes live, and then it doesn't pull any analytics to your quiz. It'll automatically do your own email, let you put in your first name, and then decide which quiz result you want to go into. Something that I want to mention about this is most email marketing systems will not duplicate, and they might just, I guess, edit the subscriber. I'm not really sure. I think it depends on which one you're using. But the reason why that's important is because a lot of times we'll get people who are testing, they use their email and they notice that it doesn't work properly. So if for whatever reason you don't have, 20 emails you can test with, or 5 emails even, we have a neat little trick that you can do with this. So what I like to do is test my email, test it again by putting a +1, test it a third time by putting a +2, and so on. So that's a neat little trick that we do, so that way it'll see it as a different email, but will still connect to your actual email, and then you can test out all of your sequences and make sure that they're working properly. So that's a neat little trick that we have. And then, of course, send test lead to my list. There's another option to testing your quiz, making sure that, the email and name get sent to your email platform. And then from there, the right email is being sent to that person. You can always click the preview button up here, and it takes you to a preview of your quiz, and you can still opt in that way without messing up your analytics. Cool. So from here, once we have all of this set up, coming up on 5 minutes here. So once you get to this stage, you do want to make sure you have 3 check marks right here, which just indicates, hey, you set everything up all the way. If you didn't set everything up all the way, it will have like a little triangle saying, not really saying, but it'll have a little triangle, which just shows you that you missed a spot or it's not done. You didn't map it all the way. Okay, cool. So that is all of the stuff for the integrations. I'm going to check my notes, make sure I covered everything. All right, awesome. Something that I did want to mention in here is a question that we get is, what email platform should I use? And a lot of the times I hear that it is really mostly just what's more comfortable for you in terms of, is it user friendly? Do you like it? Are you comfortable with using it? Do you feel like it's easy to use? And then also functionality. Does it do everything that you want to do? Some people, don't want to use Zapier. They want to directly integrate, so they choose one that directly integrates, or, they really love that platform, even if it doesn't directly integrate, so then they use Zapier. It's really up to you, but this is kind of the really exciting part, I would say, about the funnel, because this is where, it's going to automate that process of somebody subscribing and then the email gets sent. And then you start talking to them and having that personalized experience and letting them get to know you as a person and as a business. Another thing is it totally depends on the stage that you're in. So for example, I know that some of the email platforms have free options where you can collect a certain amount of leads and subscribers. And so that way, you can test it out, see if it's working, if you like it, and so on. And then I think at some point, some people realize that, their business is taking off and they want a better solution that can handle more subscribers, or they want a certain type of functionality, more automation. So I would definitely start with who we integrate directly with, and then do your research from there based off the stage that you're in your business. Of course, also budget and what your needs are. It kind of goes back to your goals and all of that. But yeah, hopefully that helps in terms of picking an email marketing platform. We do also list these if you go into tryinteract.com/integrations, and we'll also tell you which ones are connected through Zapier. Awesome, guys. So from here, I have a few minutes left. So if you're watching this later, feel free to pop in some questions in the comments. And if you are at the stage where your quiz is, just about done, I know this is the part where we're starting to implement. So you might have already finished your title, your questions, results, and so on. Feel free to pop it as a post, so that way we can take a look at some feedback. Tomorrow, what we're going to go through is emails and nurturing. There is still part of the quiz implementation process that happens after this, but emails and nurturing is a really important part that I wanted to touch on. And I know a lot of people have questions on it, and it's a huge part of making sure the quiz is successful and then leading your customers more down the funnel. And then we have a few days after that. Oh, sorry, I forgot it's Friday, and I keep saying tomorrow on Friday. I will be back Monday. I won't be here tomorrow doing the video, but yes, the next video on Monday will be emails and nurture. And then I know we only have a few days left with each other after that. Just to give you an idea of what's coming up, I will go back into the builder after emails and nurture and talk a little bit about implementing your quiz and what our options are and how you can put it up on your site and so on. We'll talk a little bit about some tech tips that I have inside of the builder, and I will probably go back through some of the stuff if you missed it when we were covering like title or questions and so on. And then from there, I will go over your analytics, how to read your analytics, and we'll talk a little bit about what's different between each plan. And then the last day, I want to leave it up to any questions that you guys have, and then I will just kind of go on and talk a little bit more about our pricing and what that looks like in case you guys are interested. And if you have any questions on that, I know a lot of questions come up about, which plan is right for me. So I'm happy to answer those live for you if you are able to make it. And yeah, that's all I got. I know that was a ton. I have a minute to spare. So let me know what you guys think, if you have any questions. And if you didn't get to see the video yesterday, I did ask for a progress check. Just want to know if this information is helpful to you guys. We are planning workshops that we're going to do in the new year. We have had a ton of requests for doing something like this, where we go into the builder and also talk a little bit about the strategy part. So it's helpful for me to know if this was worthwhile for you guys, or if you're looking for something different. Anyway, I will hop off now, and I'll see you guys in the Facebook group. Thanks, guys. Bye.